On to our next story now. The foreign ministers of 7 richest countries will be meeting in London for the first G7 summit of 2021. Now, this will be the first such in-person meeting in over 2 years. Now, the G7 nations will look at a proposal to build a rapid response mechanism to counter Russian propaganda and disinformation. Speaking ahead of a G7 foreign ministers meeting, the British Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, has called Russian actions as a threat. Raab also expressed the urgency to counter Russian cyber attacks. British and US officials have expressed concern in recent months about growing strategic cooperation between Russia and China.
But we're also getting the G7 to come together with a rapid rebuttal mechanism so that when we see these lies or propaganda or fake news being put out there, we can not just individually but come together to provide a rebuttal and frankly to provide the truth for the people in this country but also in Russia, China and all around the world.
Militarily, economically and technologically, Britain has identified Russia as the biggest threat to its security. The English Kingdom also views China as its greatest long-term challenge. The Foreign Secretary has elaborated on some matter of concerns when it comes to Russia and China.
I think we are concerned about the threat that we see Russia posing on the border with Ukraine. Also, the wider use of, the Novichok attack on Alexei Navalny is a chemical weapons attack. I think that ought to give great cause for concern. It's a chemical weapons issue, not just a human rights issue. I think the use of cyber, particularly by Russia, but also by China, Iran, and other countries, is something that we're looking at very closely, working with our allies on. We've got great high-tech comparative advantage in the UK. We don't just put that to good use in exploiting commercial opportunities, we also make sure that our resilience and the resilience of our allies is strengthened.
Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, will visit the United Kingdom for the G7 Foreign Ministers meet. The United Kingdom has invited India for an in-person G7 Foreign Ministers meet. Foreign Ministers of Australia, South Korea, South Africa and the Secretary General of the Southeast Asian nations, the ASEAN, have also been invited. The External Affairs Minister of India will be visiting London from the 3rd to the 6th of May for a bilateral visit. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, will also travel to London during the same period. According to reports, a bilateral between India and the US is highly likely. Now, the G7 is a grouping of 7 industrialized countries, including Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the US and the UK, plus the EU. Now, the key focus of the meet obviously will be on the ongoing COVID crisis. Now, it also will discuss climate change, with the UK set to host the UN Climate Change Conference, or COP26, later this year.
And I'm sure you are aware that Boris Johnson will join this program.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.